can remember, life was good.
I passed my early years peacefully. I figured it this way. Hitler loves only Germans, but no other people, and particularly not us Jews.
Our family felt the full impact of Hitler's anti-Jewish laws, so life was filled with anxiety. Jews are banned from trams and are forbidden to drive. Jews are only allowed to do their shopping between 3 and 5 o'clock, and then only in shops that bear the placard Jewish shop. Jews must be indoors by 8 o'clock and cannot even sit in their own gardens after that hour. Jews may not take part in public sports. Swimming baths, tennis courts, hockey fields and other sports grounds are prohibited to them. From the time that Hitler came to power, I would say that there was not a day that I did not walk to school or back from school without a sense of fear in the pit of my stomach.
I was attending a special school of Jewish children only, with a Jewish teacher. Every morning, the first thing we did was look around to see who was missing, as this meant they had been arrested in the night. "Papa," I cried, "they're here, all over the place." The mere sign of a swastika, whether on a flagpole or on a badge, made me freeze with terror.
Today an order was issued that from now on Jews have to wear a yellow star-shaped patch. The order tells exactly how big. The star patch must be sewn on every outer garment, jacket or coat. I met some yellow-starred people. They were so gloomy, walking with their heads lowered.
I refuse to leave the house. I am not going to wear the yellow star. I am not going to appear in public with a Jew badge. I can't be seen wearing that horrible, horrible thing. I will die if any of my schoolmates see me. I know I was hurt and outraged at being made a glaring mark, an example, a thing intended to set me apart and humiliate me. Jew or criminal, what is the difference in their intent? What is the difference in my shame of helplessness? I was no longer a human being. I was singled out, an object.
Gangs of youths ran in the streets, throwing stones through windows of shops owned by Jews, which were required to have the Star of David posted in a visible place.
It must have been 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, when suddenly I was ripped out of sleep by a sound of smashing crockery and glass. A chair hurtled into the wardrobe mirror, glass flying everywhere. Now fear became a living thing. Fear for the life and the safety of my parents, who represented my own safety. It was like drowning. I sat numbed and in shock, watching without a sound as axes flew into the screaming wood of chests and wardrobes. My mother's cherished collection of old china cups, all shapes and sizes, from many countries. Not one was unbroken. Furnishings were slashed, old oak and walnut tables and chairs were legless, the carpets hacked, curtains torn down, floorboards splintered and many windows smashed, with the cold black night crowding in. It has all been well organised. The brown shirts had known exactly where to go and where not to go. They knew that the carp's doors on one side of the hall and apparently part of our flat were not to be touched. They had been briefed. A new law was passed. All Jews must move into the ghetto. One morning, German and Lithuanian soldiers and police banged loudly on our door and the doors of all the Jewish homes and shouted, "Get out, get out! You have 15 minutes to gather what you want to take with you."
The Germans ordered the Jews to live closer together, and so the Bialystok ghetto was set up. The Germans appointed an Ecuvic committee composed of Jews, the Judenrat, whose task was to see that the Germans' orders and decrees were carried out. The limited ghetto area, extending over only a few streets, was too small to contain the town's Jewish population, and the overcrowding was terrible right from the beginning. Our family was allocated half a room in the apartment. 9 families crowded into this apartment. Thus we found ourselves together with the entire Jewish population of Bialystok. I cannot bear this life. I cannot bear these times. My ears are filled with the deafening clamour of the crowded streets and cries of people dying on the sidewalks. Even the quiet hours of night are filled with the snoring and coughing of those who share the same apartment, or with the shots and screams coming from the streets.
"Did you hear?" she cried. "They have put up notice boards about the deportations." I read the printed words. "By order of the German authorities, all the Jews of Warsaw, regardless of age or sex, will be deported. Every deportee will be permitted to carry 15 kilograms of luggage, including cash, valuables, and provisions for 3 days. Those failing to comply with this edict will be eligible for the death penalty." Voices raised terrible questions that went unanswered. Where are we going? How many will be deported? It was rumoured that freight carts were being brought up and shunted onto railway sidings.
The ghetto was completely wiped out. We were to leave street by street. Where we were being taken, this was the secret. Each person will be allowed only to take his personal belongings, a bag on our backs, some food, a few clothes, nothing else.
Thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of people were walking, taking their belongings with them, some on their heads, some on their backs, some on their shoulders. There were children, old people, babies, all of them like the exile of people, the exile from Egypt. The railway station was about 500 metres from the ghetto. Some 20 railway carts were awaiting us, 70 to 80 people in a car. After a while, there was a muffled sound of closing latches. The whistle blew and the train started moving slowly. It was April 17th, 1943. Penned in and cramped, we departed from our homeland without being able to see it.
The door, or the boxcar, was pushed open and suddenly we were blinded by the light of day. We had been in total darkness for how long? A day? 2? 3? A lifetime. There were screams outside. Roush! Roush! Shots were being fired. Dogs were barking. People were pushing towards the doors in panic, trampling each other in their haste.
Women and children on this side, men over there, snarled the guards. Lajos and I and my father stood by each other. My mother and sisters were led away with the rest of the women and children.
Looking up at the guards, I kept asking myself, why are they doing this to us? We never harmed anyone. What will become of our family? Will I ever see my mother, my sister, and my brother again?